for my own stream.
There we go. I see you.
Alright, so I'm going to cut this off, and then you can cut it on if you need to go.
Okay.
Alright, welcome back to myself for being back. My name is Kevin. We are, today is a big day for us. We're celebrating 1 month of live streaming. Just, you know, we did a lot of research, but there just comes a point where you have to jump in cold and rip that band-aid off, figure out, how everything's going to go, and find your voice and your tone and your energy, and try to get into that comfortable state to where you can be personable with a device in which it connects to real people and bots and everything else that may be out there. But we're really enjoying it. We've come, like I said, feels like a really long way. YouTube told us that 3 years ago we made our first video. I remember those videos, and they were quite the cringe, but we pushed through. A while back, I had kind of told myself that that I have never found or I've yet to find a medium in which I couldn't express myself, and social media was such a struggle for me. And I told myself, just treat it like a tool, and the media is the expression. And so not too long ago, I just dove into trying to figure it out and trying to learn it, and that has brought me all the way to this place where I just felt like live streaming was the biggest fear, right? It was the pinnacle, terror trigger when I thought about it. And so I just said, I'm going to look behind that door, and I just started pushing for it, and here we are. We pulled back that curtain, and granted, there is still remnants of the anxiety and the loss of cognition and things like that when going live. But all in all, it's every day's getting better, and every step gets stronger. So Leela and I are really excited to be here and making this move. We hope to grow this into a live virtual studio space, whatever that may look like, where we open up our doors and just start making and creating and sharing who we are. And that way, as the algorithm knows, whoever that benefits, it'll benefit, and if it doesn't, we wish you well and hope you find your place. Anyways, with that being said, we are here on a Friday. We've kind of tailored into just a simple process of just throwing and trimming. And so what I've done is I've cycled through each day, throwing 10 pieces and then trimming the 10 pieces from the previous day. And so this morning we threw these cups here, and I say shout out, and I guess that actually means something now. But anyway, shout out to everyone who came in earlier and hung out with us. Andy with Top Drawer, he's the one that designs out a lot of my spaces that they showcase my work. does a fantastic job, and he's building out some stores right now. Check out Top Drawer Shop, and you can see those new build outs. Anyways, that was this morning, and now we're going to be trimming these cups that we threw yesterday. And so I've got I think a little more than 10, but anyways, we're going to work through those and trim them up for ending of Friday. I'm going to put on some music and just get into my flow. Feel free to put your music on and hang out as long as you want. Thanks for joining us. If you got questions and comments, feel free to throw them in there, and if I happen to see them, I'll say something. I'm also trying to think through on the next step, which we hope to start glazing soon. We have a whole bunch of work in the other room, and we want to get the kiln fired. Let me see if I can get this positioned. I may ask for help if anybody has an idea of how they would like that to sit.
It's a little higher. It's still in the comments.
Maybe I'll come back, bring it up. How's that fit?
Yeah, it's good. It just needs a focus.
All right, how's that? Now, I think we actually did bring it back a little more too, because that way after I come off the wheel, I can clean it up, show it. All right, let's...
It is a little blurry, like it's focusing on your... Maybe put your hand in there, let me see. Okay.
How's that?
Yeah. Yep, it's good.
All right. But yeah, the next step is to get into glazing, and we're looking for trying to get some sort of setup and process going where we can share that also easily. I'll bring my chair around and maybe y'all be able to see more of the tool work. It's kind of, let's see if I can move my foot pedal. You know what, this brick can be moved.
You want me to help?
All right,
Nice.
thank you. Yeah, I'm right now I'm really excited to find an ergonomic solution to wheel throwing. I'll tell you, getting hunched over in this chair will be something to I stretch in between each session and trying to stretch it out, and getting all hunched over takes a lot out of you. All right, let me see what we're going to do with this piece. I'll just clean up that surface. All that looks good. And then I'm going to try to follow this contour here is the baseline coming in, so we have all this to work with. And I don't know what's going to look good with this cup. It's very angular, so I could either add some curves to it, or I can maintain that rigidity.
Hey babe,
Yep.
got Andre
What's up, Andre?
says, hey, greetings from Czech Republic. Good luck with what you're up to. Just came here to say hi. Have a great time.
Thank you. Thanks, Andre. Yeah, we're a new startup streaming art studio, and just getting our feet wet. Let's see.
Bunch of hearts. 100%.
What's that, babe?
It's a bunch of hearts. 100%.
Nice.
I typed in thanks, Andre. Thanks for stopping in today.
Yeah, I like how the lines in this, I was able to retain this look like they're just coming in and out of existence. So in the rim it's smoother and softer, and then they just kind of emerge into these throw lines and then smooths back in before it hits the foot. Break it away and give it a quick polish. Appreciate everyone who comes by. If you got a question, feel free to throw it in the comments. Or send it to me whenever, however. And we'd love to try to get to any serious inquiries and laugh at any that aren't. So this foot kind of stands away from the cup, has its own sort of pedestal-like identity supporting the cup. A little more natural. These throw lines being this edgy could only really come from a fingernail from the hand. So this would have been from the fingernails in the clay. Lovely cup. And here's the square cup that we had done. We had used one of the tools to push out from the inside, which gave us this nice soft squaring. Very simple, but very great start to any cup, any square cup. I went ahead and, as you can see on these edges, you can see where the clay looks like it was just kind of breaking and separating, and I've gone through and I've put supportive clay bands on the inside of that, so it'll be purely cosmetic, and we'll get it trimmed up and see what happens. Oh, it also looks like the cup has a bit of just a very slight turn to it, like see if you can see it this way. See how the lines look like they're on this angle here, where this is straight, and this is the angle of the lines. So that's a nice effect I'm not seeing until now. Maybe we'll be able to accentuate. Yeah, I've been working in clay for quite a while. I think one of the things that holds a lot of artists back is that in order to verbalize what your art or material or process says to you, you have to use words. But then I've always felt like if I could express what I could with words that I do with clay, then I'd have been a poet or a writer. But I use clay. But then I noticed that many artists get represented, especially after they pass, and then their art's only left up to interpretation. And so I kind of felt like it'd be smart as an artist to at least be able to verbalize in your own way, in whatever way you have to, what your art is. And that's what I hope to obtain through this live stream. It's just to have a place where, well, I'm open even in the creation of it, and then I welcome people to come and you know, just to be a part of the process, feel a part of it, offer input, and we can create some beautiful things together. I really like this boldness in this foot, especially this undercut. Let's see if I can't keep that. Let's see if I find another tool for this.
This cup is fun to watch. Hey, Christopher O'Keefe says, yo, yo, yo.
What's up, Chris? Chris. Just finishing up our Friday. We've got about maybe 12 cups to finish, and then we're done. And celebrating our 1 month streaming. Getting clay out of the inside of these it's tough. Like a little air can. All right, we're done with this one. This took a while.
I can't wait to see that cup glazed. I want to see how the glazes pull down the corners.
The outside corner?
Yeah.
It won't do too much. It won't do too much on the outside or part of the inside. It's still considered a straight cup. When it gets to the inside, it'll pool in the pockets, but even that could be kind of
Interesting.
well hidden. All right, so this will be an interesting cup. These are always a little more sculptural since I put these real organic knots into the side. Typically the knots will remain thick unless I trim open these holes, which I more than likely do for the sake of weight.
OG Brick says, what does it mean by trimming the cup?
All right, so the trim of a cup is when you throw any cup on a wheel like this, then when you cut the cup off, you have a flat bottom. It's just flat, and so there needs to be some sort of treatment to the cup to make it suitable for table use so that it stands up straight and it's stable and then doesn't scratch surfaces. And then you take all of those functional elements and combine them with balance, weight, how does the cup feel, how does the cup look, sit. And so the foot of the cup, it's one of the names that we identify the different elements of pottery. And so we follow the human form. So we say foot, body, neck, mouth, and then there's so many different elements that people will kind of ambiguously try to identify with their work. And so the easiest is like a foot, like on a web page. You have the footer, the header, the mouth, and so a lot of these elements are just natural hierarchical elements. So what we're doing is we're trimming the foot, and we're creating a finish by removing the excess clay and then defining where the piece is going to sit. And since my work is all, extremely varied, everything I do is just, following previous forms, then you end up with very unique shapes. And so every foot will be different. So this cup, I'll read it differently. I'll decide what kind of foot it wants based on its form and feel. And then I will do my best to try to get that revealed. So that is trimming a foot. It's simply just finishing the bottom. But I really celebrate this process. I love trimming, and so when I throw pots, I usually will leave a lot of clay so that I have a lot more option to create a stately foot that stands off versus something that just really is humble and will fit with the form, maybe, and everything in between. So it's just you read the piece and then kind of decide what it can offer, and then what does it want to look, what look does it want to have. So for here, I'm going to just start taking out as much of this clay as I can, and then we can see that up to this point, this is how far my indentions were. So once I get to this point, I will be trimming into the side walls, which will reveal some sort of cavity underneath. I think that's my standard go-to for this style, just because of the weight issue. But this foot is fairly, this piece is fairly wide and stout, so I think having a real, having the physical weight to match the visual weight, that's really a kind of a goal for me. You can see how it's starting to come through here, and that'll only expand. I better stick with this one. Mm-hmm.
It's been about 10:15, 10:30 his time.
I'm not following.
So it's just it's nighttime in Europe.
Yeah.
This would be a relaxing thing to watch before sleeping.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful cup. I like how organic it is. Almost looks like a
Yeah.
tree.
I remember these cups from a while back when I was doing more of these forms. And what I would do is I would go into the inside, and I don't have very good lighting right here, but I'd go into the inside when I was throwing it, and I would make all of these little, like, hard or sharp crenellations, like bullseye rings or something that goes all the way around, so that when you shove in the wall, it just warps them all together in the most, organic way, and they pool glaze really, really well. So we'll have to maybe try a few more of those. They work better with larger pieces. Like you need a little bit more surface area in the floor of the piece. So this one, naturally, like I said, this is all solid, and you can't really trim into the side wall with without really messing up these kind of curved indentions. So I just usually will take out of the middle, bring that bottom in, allow these pieces to break through, and then you get something that's just real subtle little finger pockets in the hold. Like whenever you're using them, they just really have. This one actually looks like it may be better for a left-handed, but yeah, I love how this one really offers unique ways to just kind of nestle that cup in your fingers. Get really good support.
I also like that inner ring at the bottom of the foot.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that. That was just like a last second, like there was a lot of that organic nature, like just letting the foot move. And so I felt like it was a really great frame. Like it just framed it well. But yeah, I like that too. I'm glad you liked it also, Leela. Alright, this one, simple. Like right now, it's just real simple. This is one solid curve. I see kind of a break right here, and then this is just like a little cupped foot, already pre-drilled down to the floor of the foot, so I know not to trim further than that. And then I look at the inside, and I use my fingers as calipers to judge how thick places are, if there's thin spots, things to be careful about. All of that stuff's just done, this quick. You just some quick measurements, adjustments, and then you can, start working through how you want to trim it out. For this cup, if I could give you a visual, the floor of the cup hits right here on this edge, like that, and then it has a very soft sweeping curve. So it's not flat, but it's just almost sweeping flat. So if you can think that when I trim this form here comes up and then back down. And all of this I can trim away if I want. So let's push it on this one. I'm going to try to give it a wide foot for stability, but I'm going to see how much clay we can take away from the side to give you an example of like an extreme I'll start with the inside since I want to keep as much of that as I can. Alright, so this is the foot I want to keep. From here it's only going to get thinner, so I want to make sure I don't trim into this part here. Everything else can go away. Careful. All right, so let's take it out. I'm going to leave one small ledge here just so that any glaze that comes down the surface will drip before it continues to the foot. And maybe I will remember that when I'm glazing it. I almost really like this form here. I don't know if I want to take any more that way. I guess I will. Since we set out for it, I'll just give it a little cleanup. I'm going to leave that edge. have questions, feel free to throw them out. See, just a little mark can change the whole look of the piece. And look at all the clay we cut out. This cup is very thin, very well balanced. All right, 5 down, and it looks like we have 5 more to go. I guess there was only 10.
There was only how much?
10. I thought there might have been like 11 or 12 cups, but we're halfway through. We got 5 more cups. Then we'll be done for this session.
So the time right now is 58 minutes. So we've been going about an hour.
Nice. Well, we've been going a little slow also.
Yeah.
All right, this one I think I'm seeing kind of a crenellated look. It looks very robust. These really large hips, very large mouth, shoulders. So, but I'm seeing this repetition and form flowing down. So I think I might try to retain that in, but then maybe chunk this up into some maybe some knuckles, like some big crenellated foot knuckles or something. I think that will. Although that may be bad since the cup is so wide, it could be make it understable. Let's see. Whoops. Push too hard. Trim too far.
Oops. Now I see it.
Better now than later, but that's still tough. I had big plans for that one. It's going back in the pug. Alright, this is going to be a fun cut. Will you get that AC back on?
Yeah.
Up, 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 up. Thank you. So I can center the foot. Let me see if I can center the body of it. Alright, let's say we go with that. Feel like I'm trying to center this body portion. Trim this up, and then that'll keep the mouth from looking like it's not too out of sync. Give it a little bit of a dance. Yeah. Look how fast I photoshopped that. I just used the blemish removal tool and boom, done. Click of a button.
The blemish removal tool. Otherwise known as the needle tool.
Otherwise known as my fingers. Alright, I left this one really thick, and I guess I did just for, I don't know. I feel like it needs it. Just going to sign this up. Yeah, that has a nice feel. Believe me, I will let y'all know if I make a bad pot. I make lots of them. I leave them in. I just let them go through the process. I try not to judge pieces. I don't judge my own work. All I do is I find what I love about each one, and then I really I hold on to the ones that really just express my my heart, my likes, my desires. And it's that simple. Who am I to say if this cup is good or not? Well, I guess I can say it's a good cup. It actually has a really nice, I think even just having that little bit of extra weight in the foot really gives it a lot more of that stability that I think is needed. Nice movement. I think these forms are really great if you ever get to one of these in person. These are great because I think they fit any hand. Like organic cups, it's like they're just made to be held by our hands. Like, look how these ridges just like fold into the fingers. And whether you're left-handed or right-handed, they work. But like a mug, I've made mugs and it's like that is clearly a left-handed mug or a right-handed mug. They can definitely be specific. Alright, this one is pretty weighty, but all of this from probably here down is thick, or here up is solid. So we're going to be trimming all this down, removing that weight, but I really like just the natural curve, the natural look that this is bringing out. So I think we're going to just keep that. This one should go pretty quick. Man, that's why I should clean my wheel between. hollow this out. Alright, I thought that was really necessary to add a bit of lift and lightness since the piece had such a weight to it. And I think even just these two small cutouts are going to add a lot of lift and give it some lightweight look. Alright, what do we got? Two more cups. Two more cups left. We have a small one and a large one. We'll do the small one first. This might have been the last cut. So we've been, so we've kind of settled into, kind of like a morning, afternoon streaming routine, and we jump on and been throwing a few pieces, and then coming back and then trimming the previous days, and but we have been to the point of needing to do a firing, and in the other room I have a lot of work already completed and bisque fired, but it was essential for me to get into streaming and just kind of get that process going, and I found it really difficult in the end to try to begin that with trying to tell a complex story like glazing or kiln loading, kiln firing, and so all of this was just kind of getting into the habit of getting out here, getting a stream running, and then getting it into a task, which we've just reduced to sitting here throwing some cups and trimming some cups. But I really want to move forward toward getting this kiln fired, and so come next week, we're going to stick to this schedule and to the best of our ability, and we're going to start trying to incorporate maybe another element, and that may be glazing. So I do have to get glazes mixed, and I've got to get all of my glazes prepped and prepped for the glazing, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that in addition to this story. So anyways, if you care to follow along, would love feedback. We're going to be really soon. We're going to be getting into mixing these glazes and then getting the cups next door glazed so that we can fire. So yeah, it's all new. A lot of this stuff I've done it in my head for a decade, and now I'm trying to figure out how to verbalize it, how to put words to these tasks that I'm doing, and these thoughts that I have while I create these things. And that is new, but I don't mind learning something new. Small cup with a big attitude. Actually, it's probably more of like a humble, passive attitude. So soft edges, little organic, little pudgy, little cup. We'll see what it puts on, what kind of clothes it puts on. Alright, this a little bit larger, a little more of some bold lines. Belted, concentric. We'll see what kind of flip comes out. And this here will be our last cup, and then we'll be done for the week. Alright. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The nice little trim there. I feel like I might be able to even do another one, but I would want to check it first. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Can get one right in there.
What do you need to check it for to do another one like that?
To make sure I had enough clay on this edge to do another little frame.
Oh, I see. So it doesn't cut through.
Yeah, so I don't do what I did to this cup, the last one. All right, let's do this one. About right. Just right next to it. Alright, now I'm gonna just go ahead and say that I am seeing that this cup is too tall. Does anybody agree? I'm thinking that I would like to cut the cup right there, maybe. No, I actually think these rings kind of give it lift, like it pushes upward. And so I think having this cup be a little longer, I think that'll be fine. So let's keep it. Alright, so we're done. Thank you all for joining us, coming and hanging out. I don't really know what to say. We'll be back next week, next Monday, and we're going to decide what to do then. I do have some pieces that I need to get packed up to ship out. We're shipping out about 150 cups. The plan right now is to get about 150 cups shipped out to Top Drawer. And so if you're in the vicinity of any of their shops, then reach out to me if you want to take part in choosing where those cups go. I know Andy will call. All right. Get those cups. All right, so we are done. Look at those.
Want me to stop it? Or you stop?
Continuous. Done. That's what we got trimmed up. Which is your favorite? Clean and classic. Some nice trim lines. little accent marks. You like the bold, short, squatty, organic. That's going to create some nice glazed pools around those knuckles, as well as giving some lift. This one here is going to be very similar in kind of their appeal. This one's got a split foot, trimmed out, nice, bold, and I felt like that really balanced these lines that are spiraling up, kind of a corkscrew manner. So these are both real short, squatty, stable. And then here's another organic. I think, let's see, I think this one may be pushing one of my favorites. I love these organic cups. They fit the hand well. They can usually they fit any sort of hand or grip. And then we had two with some really sharp concentric rings. This one here has a little sharp belt running around the middle. Small, simple foot, flared out mouth. And then this one here, the rim kind of tucks back in at the mouth. And then the foot's got these rings that are kind of pushing it up, lifting it up, and then kind of echoing that middle belt. All these would hold very well in the hands. Any sort of cup that has a ledge that a finger can go under, those are all really stable in the hand. And then this one here, kind of similar, but instead of having that sharp belt, it's got ridges that the throwing lines that kind of come into the surface, rise up through the body. They hit this real fat corkscrew, and then it softens out into the mouth. And then that shape of the foot right here, this nice little bell curve. I like that a lot. Very light, delicate. And then last but not least, our little square cup. So we just hit the inside, gave it a little bit of a square pop, and then I trimmed into the foot to give it a double shadow, so it bevels in on both sides, creates like a Z shape, and I like that a lot. I think that'll be very nice. And then this is the one we lost, and we trimmed through this one. Sad to say, it's going back to the pug mill. Come on, find me. All right, anyways, thank y'all so much for being here, everyone who stopped by today, this week, this month. As I've said a bunch, and I think they say you just keep saying it over and over, and you get better and better at it. We're a new startup. We're really enjoying being here, sharing our art, our love. We create beautiful things, and we will enjoy connecting with you whenever you see fit. So come on back and check us out. We're going to be here just making pots. Thank y'all. Take care. All right, baby.